Welcome to Loud Librarians Lead with Laura Kelly. That's right, South Dakota librarians. I'm back for one last interview. I was just so excited to conduct this interview with Amber Wilde, Library Director of Balloch Memorial Library in Spearfish, and Lydia Schnaible, Library Director of Bowdle Public Library, along with SDSL's Kathleen Slocum, Continuing Education Coordinator. We're here to talk about accreditation and the benefits of ongoing development of the quality library services. Welcome, Amber, Lydia, and Kathleen. Amber and Lydia, can you tell librarians across the state about why your library decided to seek accreditation?
So I've been at the library here in Spearfish for about 14 years now as the director. And early on in my career here, I was asked to be part of the task force for the accreditation committee. And so setting up those standards, coming up with what we want people to strive for in different areas was something that I was involved in from the beginning. And so as soon as we had those set up and had them in place, I of course wanted to start working towards meeting those for my own library. We started right away, worked up to the top level as quickly as we could. I think we had the first time was with the second level, and so wanted to work our way up as we could and try to meet those standards. And I really felt that they were a great way to kind of show my library board what kinds of things we should be working towards and what other libraries throughout the state would be working towards, to give us something to strive for, and just to give us some guidelines on the types of things that libraries should be doing for South Dakota residents.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Amber. And I love that. Like, this is what all libraries are trying to strive for. So you can show them that this is what we can do too, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. How about for you, Lydia?
I had first heard about accreditation at Library Institute. And when I got back, I decided that was something that would help me make the library the best I could be, or like that we could be. And then making goals for what we want to be doing in the future. And you have, like, my board at first wasn't so supportive, but now I have a great board and they are super supportive because they also have to put in work that without them, you couldn't be certified or accredited. And so there are some struggles. Like, we're only at the first level. We're just starting to work on the second level, and even looking at the third level, some of it's a little harder for a small library when you're one person to do. And so you definitely need your board to help because you can't do it all. And then some of the standards itself is a little hard to attain, but that's goals that we can work for to in the future. And so it's helpful to show my community, my board, the city, what we would like to do in the future and the things that we'd like to accomplish and what we've already accomplished.
It's always great to have something to strive for. And as you said, this is a group effort, right? You're not doing it on your own as a library director, but having that supportive board. I'm so glad that you have that, Lydia. All right, Kathleen, can you tell librarians that may have never sought accreditation before, what would you say to them?
Well, accreditation is a form of validation. I mean, of all your hard work you do at the library. It's also a checks and balances for your board, for them to see all the different things that the public library should be working on or in the future work on. Anybody can attain accreditation. It's just going to take a little bit of work and a little bit of organization. And while currently we have about a third of our libraries that are accredited, we have more and more communities that want this because they're putting it on their city logos, and the city library is accredited. We even have libraries in this state that they make it mandatory that if a library wants county funding, they need to be accredited. So it's slowly changing, and I really think it gives the library a solid venue to continue to grow and to continue to get stronger.
And I love the idea of celebrating it. Like, put it on your logo, put it on your website, let people know that you've done this hard work and that your library stands out, right? I just love that idea. Amber,
Can I
and Lydia,
add?
go
Can
ahead.
I
Yes,
like
add,
think
absolutely,
at
absolutely.
the first level, honestly, after looking through it, almost all the libraries, it's the easiest thing. Like, you're doing most of it already without even, and so when you're going to be accredited, you're doing most of it anyway. You just have to get like your trustees, your board to do some continuing education, but almost everything on that first level is so attainable because you're already doing it.
Well, and let's label it, it's essential. So it's essential thing at that library. And when you go to level 2, it's enhanced. It's that little bit of extra stuff to make your library better. And then when you get to the exemplary level, wow, you've gone to that full extreme. But even if you're just at the first level, you still have met those things that make your library a great place.
Mm-hmm.
Never think it's not enough, because any level is a great level.
Well, and that's what I'm saying though, like that's everybody's doing it. You're mostly doing it. So it's so easy to your starting point because you're already doing most of it. So
Amber, is there anything you wanted to add too?
I would just say, like they said, a lot of it's required actually by state law for that first level. And so you are doing it, and there's no reason not to, get in and get started on that and make it, and take credit for it.
Perfect. I love that comment. That's exactly. Take credit for what you're doing. Yeah. Lydia and Amber, can you explain how accreditation has helped you meet your goals, and what are some of the plans that you have for the future of your library?
Well, things like programming were pretty much existent before I came. And so things like the program evaluation, seeing what works and how it's helpful or what's been worked well and what hasn't, what we need to change. And things that we're working toward, working toward those other levels. And so my board, we've decided that just at our last meeting, that at all the next meetings that we'll pick something off of those other lists and start working on them each meeting to try. And so like all the technology plans and the strategic planning and all those extra work things, we're just gonna build them into the meeting so that we can start getting them where we can actually, it won't take, trying to get it all done in 3 years or like in that 3-year time. If you rush it, it's never going to happen. So we decide we're going to start shooting for that next level and plan it out. And hopefully we can make the next level the next time around just by taking a little time each meeting to work on it.
That makes sense to me. You can take it a little bit at a time. And like you said, it's not about just getting it done. It's about having that quality of the work that you put in, right? It's what you want it to be. Thank you, Lydia. How about you, Amber?
One of the things that I think accreditation has helped me with is structuring our board meetings and structuring our goals. Kind of helps define the types of things that we need to be working on, making sure that we're updating our bylaws and updating our policies and staying on top of those things. It gives me a framework to kind of work within with the library board and continuing to improve our library and reassess where we're at. It also makes us one of the few departments that regularly updates our strategic plan. And so it helps us stay on task with that, make sure we do it every 3 years. We've even found a way to build a chronology into our strategic plan so that we know every time we have a board meeting, what types of things that are in our strategic plan we're supposed to be working on, what we're supposed to accomplish, what we said we were going to do at this point. And then it doesn't always happen though. COVID just completely threw us off, but it doesn't happen every single time the way we planned it, but at least helps us kind of monitor our progress and figure out and helps us find ways to reprioritize and work within that framework. And so it's been a great tool for us. Some of the goals that we've accomplished, improving programming. One of the things we felt the librarians felt our community really needed was more access to technology education. And so within our strategic plan, we put that in, and we ended up buying a number of laptops so that we could work with the community on some of those computer skills. And that was something that we were able to do because we had established it as a goal within our strategic plan, budgeted for it within that, and move forward with it. It really was something that we wanted, and we were able to work toward because of that.
And you really like set that goal, and then you could accomplish it. You can celebrate that accomplishment. It's wonderful. And I have to give that quick little plug that, you know, Cheyenne is amazing here for technology plans and, you know, the strategic planning. Like, don't think that you have to do it on your own. The state library is here to help you, you know, navigate some of those pieces that you're looking to start and create. And of course, it helps you get grants and other things by having those things established easily to pull from. So. Thank you so much, ladies, for your comments. Kathleen, I got one more question for you. What about some tips that you would like to share for those who may already be in the process, or maybe those who are considering starting the process?
Well, you know, because we are, a lot of the resources for accreditation are tied to the board continuing to learn. We found that virtual, whether it's WebJunction, and WebJunction is a tool that the state library pays for, makes it available. They have a whole page on topic areas where you can put in a topic. And if you have board members who are unclear even of what collection development is, if they present that at the board meeting in a small gathering, they can earn contact hours. Or if you have a board member who attends SDLA or goes to Jumpstart, comes back and presents it to the director because the director couldn't go. I mean, those are all opportunities that board members have to be part of the everyday, this is what goes on at our library. We've also created, and I hope Laura will share when she launches this, links to resources that we've created. Bring in community members to your board meeting. There's another way for you to earn contact hours so you're not rushing at the end when it's ready to renew. You know, it's important now in 2022. We got through the brash part of COVID, and now we need to make sure board members understand that library directors are doing the best they can, and they now have more resources. So any kind of resource that you're looking at, please run it by me, and then we can let you know if your board member can use some contact hours from that, because you guys work hard every single day, and I need to take the guesswork out of that, and that's my job.
Thank you, Kathleen.
I would also mention that if you're looking at it, if you can work through it, just gradually build it up, like Lydia was talking about, you know, figure out where you're at and just kind of keep building and continue at it every year, not just wait till your accreditation is coming to the end or when you're reaching a deadline, and build those solid schedules and strategies and work at it just all the time. It's a more beneficial process, and it's also way less stressful.
Perfect.
And we're always looking for ways to reduce that stress. So having that plan throughout. Thank you.
Please contact me anytime if you need help finding resources or you need to get some resources approved.
I'd like to wrap up the vlog each time, you know, with those book recommendations. Lydia, do you have something to share with us today?
Oh my God, I have a few of them. One of the most popular books with the kids here, they come, and even if they're just sitting here waiting for an activity, they'll pull the book and they'll all sit here and they love it. Is the Book with No Pictures by BJ Novak. It's just like the most random book, but they love it. They get into it, they make the voices, and they do it, and it's such an interactive book that it's great. And then for a teen book, there's a series now called Inheritance Games, and that one reminds me of when I was young. There was a book called The Westing Game, and it's a lot like that. And so I've been trying to push that book. It's a lot like that. So if you guys, anybody knows that book from when we were younger.
I definitely do, and I would recommend it. Yes, absolutely. Amber, how about you? Did you bring anything to share today?
I'm just going to suggest for those of you that are looking for something different, I really enjoyed The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict.
Yes.
If you've read every single librarian book out there and you're thinking, I don't need to read another book about a librarian, this one is very different, really looks into how we challenge stereotypes, love historical fiction, and it was just a really great story.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I'm totally going to put that on my list. Yeah. Another one. All right, Kathleen, can you wrap us up with your book recommendations, please?
You know, I recently read Our Town's 100,000-mile journey in the heart of America, and it was it was recommended through ALA a few years ago. And part of it is in Sioux Falls and Rapid City. So these are two locations that these authors, the fellows, went. And it's a great book, and it takes small towns that you think of, because South Dakota really is a big small town. And so if you look at where they go and all the different locations, whether it's Allentown, Pennsylvania, and they talk about the economy, what's good, what's better, what's going on. And it gives you a little bit of taste of all the cities in small town America. I really liked it.
Thank you, Kathleen and Amber and Lydia, for taking the time to visit with me today and leading others by sharing your experiences and your vision for your library's future. Wave goodbye to everyone out there, guys. And remember, librarians are not buns and shushing anymore. Bye, South Dakota librarians. I will miss talking with you. Keep leading others loudly.